Hello, beautiful women, Divine Feminine Transformations Group, creative healers, beautiful souls. It's me, Rachel, and today I'm talking about how to handle triggers with mindfulness. Let's take a deep breath and tune in with what is mindfulness first, and then I'll share with you exactly what to do when you're triggered. And we'll talk about what a trigger is too. This is a huge subject. We're not going to cover it all in this short amount of time, but you will walk away from this at least being reminded of something you knew once, if not learning something new. Mindfulness is the activity of being present, meaning staying present to what is here and now in this moment, paying attention from moment to moment to moment with this other piece, which is non-judgmental acceptance. Ooh, that's the big one. That's not so easy, is it? Non-judgmental acceptance, especially when we're triggered. When we're triggered, this word triggered. You triggered me. I'm triggered. What does that mean? Really, no one is actually triggering us. They're not doing it to us. A trigger is like the rear, it's like this mirror back here. That is, it's about something that happened before, about the past. I'm looking in my rear view mirror, but the thing that's happening here in front of me, we'll call it the stimulus. There's a stimulus and then there's a response to the stimulus, right? The stimulus is the event that's happening. This event is a thing that we call the trigger in this case. When we're triggered by something, it means this is reflecting to you something that's unresolved back here. And it could be anything, right? And usually it has to do with something that we need to forgive, something that we need to work on forgiving, because forgiving isn't just like, well, I need to forgive it and it's done, you know. Forgiveness, just like healing, is an ongoing, lifelong process. Some things are easier to forgive than others, you know, things that don't really matter that much. But the big things that really matter are more difficult to forgive. The hurt is deeper. The wound is festering. So what do you do in that moment when someone says something or does something? And here it is. Here's the trigger. Here's the feeling. Here's the reaction. Here's the sense of, oh my God. And then what happens next? Well, a lot of times it's the automatic reaction of defense. And for some that means I need to prove something, or, you know, lash out or come back at the person, match the intensity. Maybe it's an event, maybe it's not something someone is doing to you that's triggering you. Maybe it's something you see in your environment. And that's triggering or upsetting or even offensive. What do you do? Well, working with triggers with mindfulness is a way of doing the work on yourself. So you notice that you're triggered. You acknowledge it. I am triggered right now. I'm having a trauma response. And you take a deep breath. The thing about the intensity of that moment when you're triggered is, the key is to match the intensity with the intensity of your breath. Sometimes it requires separating yourself from the situation a little bit, taking a step back. And this is the ticket. Here's the formula. Pause, notice, acknowledge. What are you acknowledging? Well, Mindfulness is about acknowledging what is happening right now in the present with your senses, meaning your physical feelings, physical sensations, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're tasting, what your emotions are doing. Being present to what is happening inside of you, as well as what's happening around you in the present moment. Because triggers are about something that's coming up that's reminding you, that's creating a fight, flight, or freeze response of perceived danger. But a trigger isn't actually the danger. The thing that you went through in the past that is unhealed is the thing that really was the thing that hurt, you know? When someone is doing something or saying something, or you see something that feels triggering, you notice it in your body. Okay, I'm feeling this response in my system. And you notice that I'm about to react. I'm reacting. And you catch yourself and you see it. You sense it. You observe and you name it inside of your mind. That's the acknowledgement. Pause. Acknowledge. Acknowledge I'm having a reaction to this. My body is feeling this, whatever that is, tension, heat, feeling of a welling up of anger maybe, or a feeling of feeling defeated or sad or small. You really got to get clear with yourself on what are you feeling inside when you're triggered. And the reason for that is acknowledging it is a way of turning your mind and your perception into, it's about perspective. It's about, where am I coming from right now? Am I going to now operate from this wound? That's the automatic reaction, right? So the opposite of mindfulness is autopilot. Autopilot is, this stuff is just running the show. And mindfulness is, I'm going to be present and take a moment before I choose how I'm going to respond to this, right? So the difference between automatic reaction and responding is taking that pause, acknowledging what you're doing, and creating some space, and then choosing, how do I really want to respond to this situation? Is the automatic reaction really going to do any good here? Is this going to actually serve anyone? Or can I choose to sit with this and work through this past pain and reflect on, why am I being triggered? What is it that's unresolved back here that I need to work through to find more compassion, forgiveness, understanding, or maybe it's about a new boundary that needs to be created. If you're being triggered over and over and over again by something, and you're allowing yourself to be triggered over and over again by that thing or person or whatever it is, then it's time to look at your boundaries. Boundaries about you, not the other person. Boundaries are about you giving yourself what you need. And this comes back to mindfulness of noticing, acknowledging, okay, this is my mental state. This is my physical state right now. What is it that I need to do to take care of myself right now? And sometimes that's telling someone, it's not okay what you're saying to me right now. I'm going to walk away from this now and go deal with what I need to deal with for myself. Sometimes it's about that. And sometimes it's about acknowledging that I'm being triggered, but really this has nothing to do with the situation at all. This is just me projecting maybe a neediness onto the other person, or a feeling that we're trying to get something from them, or, you know, really getting into investigating, where is this coming from inside of me? And what do I need to do to give myself so much compassion for the fact that I'm a human being And I have feelings and emotions. And there's a part of me inside called my inner child that I need to give a lot of love to right now. So you pause, you acknowledge, you take deep breaths, and you release. And you use your breath and your sound to let go of that built up intensity so that you can sit with yourself. And I know this has covered a ton of ground. I really didn't mean to kind of go into all that extra stuff necessarily, but it's also related, isn't it? Isn't it? Mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment as it is, and having deep compassion for it. That other piece about non-judgmental awareness has to do with, well, I'm not going to beat myself up for being triggered. And I'm also not going to sit here and lash out and judge somebody else, because that's not going to work either. How can I respond to the situation in a way that protects myself and also is a healthy interaction? Because we can never control anyone else's behaviors, right? We can only control our own. And it's about working with our emotions and acknowledging our emotions and sitting with them and working through it within ourselves. So that's a little flavor. Pause, acknowledge, deep breath, release again and again and again. If you need and want some more support around this, let me know, reach out. We can talk and have a deeper talk with an intention session and see what else is possible as you hold space for yourself with mindfulness and unconditional love. Okay, sending you peace, love, and the richest blessings. I hope I see you for our new moon visioning circle this Saturday. We're going to do some beautiful meditations, energy healing, oracle cards, and send a big wave of love into our global family for healing all the wounded hearts, and for lifting us up into remembering our true source and our true power is always within. Okay, sending you so much love. Peace and blessings. Ciao for now.